Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets and business apps with O2 Business. Hey guys, Basil here with BTech, and this is my 24 hours in with the Huawei P9. The P9 is a new flagship 5.2-inch Full HD display, slim body, dual Leica cameras around the back. It's a really stonking device for the price, coming in at around 450 quid even, not 150. It's being picked up by all the major networks in the UK, which is a pretty big deal for Huawei. This is a first for them. What am I thinking about it 24 hours into use? This is not a full review, but it is definitely paving the way for just that. First off, the design, it's beautiful because it's thin, it's metal, it feels premium. It is a traditional Huawei looking like phone. It does feel and look like the P8, just a slender version of it with a little bit more refinement. Still, the key design elements are there. You've got the glass element up top where the NFC contact point sits. It's got the same type of grill at the base. This time you've got a USB Type-C, just as thick as the 3.5mm jack. Really well done at Huawei for squeezing a 3000 milliamp battery into here as well. Volume rocker, power button up at the top. There's nothing of note. If you do opt for a P9 Plus, you will be getting an infrared blaster there. Around the back, those dual Leica cameras and that fingerprint scanner, which doubles up not only as a phone unlocker, but also it'll pull down your notifications tray if indeed you haven't got a custom launcher like I have. And that leads me on to what I think of the screen and what is inside. First off, the display. It's a Full HD 5.2 panel, 441 odd pixels per inch. We've seen it all before. We like it. It's good. We don't need 4K resolution. We don't need 2K resolution. It does the job. And 5.2 inches, it's easy enough to reach around. Now, Huawei is saying this is virtually bezel-less. That's a pile of rubbish, because you can see this black border as well as the metal banding. This has some bezel to it. It doesn't feel or look as bezel-less as the Ascend Mate 8, for example, Ascend 8 even. But it still looks good. It looks very good. And given the fact that price-wise it undercuts the competition and it still manages to come in at a slimmer kind of size and the in-hand feel is decent, I'm not going to be complaining too much. The pure quality of the display is on point. Inside its Emotion UI, I have customized the sweet bejesus out of mine. You can see I've actually got Microsoft's launcher on here, which I really like. Emotion UI, for anyone who doesn't know, kills the applications tray. It also changes the notifications and shortcut spot menus. Unfortunately, a custom launcher won't swap these out, but you can see you've got the two notifications on the left, shortcuts on the right. Personally, I wish they were just this traditional two-tier notifications tray, though there are some like elements that are more customizable than stock Android. For example, I can edit out the quick toggles and have other options there, including screen recording, which is pretty good. Still, I prefer this Microsoft UI for a couple of reasons. First off, I've got my applications tray back, which is wonderful. Second off, I have everything here in a meaningful 3-screen layout. I can add more screens and take away screens. This isn't so much a review of the Huawei P9 as much as an overview of the UI and why I like it, and that really does go to show why I don't necessarily like Emotion UI as much. Everything's just too laid out there and not organized enough for my take on Android. Anyway, enough of me, back onto the phone, and let's start talking about this camera. Now, it's two 12 megapixel cameras, one black and white, one color. You can see it's not that intuitive user interface on first impression, but there is some screen on text that tells you where everything is. Swipe in from the left, you have all of your options: photo, monochrome, beauty, video, HDR, beauty, video, panorama, night shot, light painting, time-lapse, slow-mo, watermark, audio note, and document readjust. So that was one long mouthful of stuff right there. Swipe in from the right hand side and you've got your other options. So there's loads and loads of stuff you can do here. If you were to just take a regular picture though, in spite of all the options, just doing absolutely nothing takes a good picture. Bringing an HTC A9 into frame, you can also see you can have a live preview of what the blurry background picture will be. So if I tap through on that, I can actually tap on an element and refocus and retrospectively apply an effect as if I was taking a picture with a low aperture lens. That's pretty sweet, and the fact it works on the fly is good too, but fundamentally the pure camera quality is indeed on point. Is it the best camera quality out there, given what Huawei's been saying about it just being mind-blowing? Honestly, first impression in good light, it's very, very good. In bad light, it pulls out a bit more noise and a little bit less detail than I was hoping. I was hoping for something truly revolutionary, and I think this is just evolutionary. First off, black and white photos look pretty sweet. So this is an indoor black and white photo. There isn't really noise per se. Also, the blur background effect works really, really well in real world cases like this picture of my cat. This is going to be a recurring theme, by the way. Yes, I take far too many pictures of my cat, but that actually showcases really well what I'm talking about with the low light. The detailing around the cat isn't as crisp as I maybe would have hoped. This is low light. It isn't the craziest low light. We really, really will be able to tell with side-by-sides with other devices, but the first impressions that I'm getting are that it is good in good light. It is in fact great in good light. In mediocre light, it still performs very well, especially in black and white. But when you do drop the lights, it's a standard camera phone problem. You get some noise in there. And as far as the performance from that Kirin 955 processor, 955 processor and the 3 gig of RAM on board this version, it's fantastic for the UI. I haven't played many games on it. I haven't had time because I've been editing videos for you guys, but haven't encountered any issues either. A lot of the times when you throw a custom launcher on, you get some stutter. You don't in this instance, so that's great. But yeah, ultimately impressed. What am I most impressed about? Well, the battery life. I really, really, really wanted to get a phone that could last me a full day after the P8 really struggled in that respect. I think the P8 had a 2600 milliamp battery off the top of my head with the same size screen and everything. I'm really, really shocked Huawei was able to keep this nice and slim and still manage to get a decent capacity cell on here, which ensures that you do indeed get a full day out of this on first impression. Is that going to be the story a couple of days, maybe a week or so in? Watch this space to find out. Check back, and if you've got any questions, anything you want us to test out in more detail, which is obviously what we'll be doing with every respect of this phone, given this isn't a full review, let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching BTech. Get great deals on the latest phones, tablets and business apps with O2 Business.